guys, Nikki here with That Homeschool Life, where I bring you real, honest, and practical homeschooling advice, motivation, inspiration, curriculum reviews, vlogs, all that jazz to help you on your homeschool journey. Now, in today's video, I want to show you how in one day you can jumpstart your children into the beautiful world of poetry, but giving them a great foundation. So let's go. Okay, so y'all know me. I have so much curriculum, I forget what I have. We are studying Shakespeare's sonnets this semester. We're taking a class on Shakespeare's tragedies and sonnets. And I'm cleaning out my homeschool shelves, and lo and behold, I found these bad boys. Now, you'll see here I have these little barcodes because I bought these off of eBay. So I got all of these for like under $10 for all of them. There might be two more in the series, but I don't know. But I'm telling you, go to eBay, look there first. If you can't find them there, then go to Amazon, okay? Now, with that said, now I have 6 books that will jumpstart your children into poetry. You're going to get the foundations. Now, this is a series. It's a book series called Poetry Builders. Now, these are the books in the series, and I'll briefly go over one of the books. We have Sonnet, Concrete Poem, Acrostic Poem, Nonsense Poem, a Limerick, and Rhyme. Now, let me just start with Sonnet because that's what we started with. Now, the whole point of Poetry Builder is they present the type of element that you're going to study in a storybook form. Y'all know I like my curriculum to be story-based, okay? Now, this one says, Poetry Builders gets you started writing your own poems. Join in the adventure as friends learn the basics of writing poetry using rhyme, meter, alliteration, and other tools, okay? Now, let me get closer. Each page starts with a poem from a child that sent in their poem. They're usually around 10 years old. So that's your icebreaker right there. So your child immediately sees what a poem looks like, or that specific poem. And then you start the story, and there's some kind of problem or a situation or a scenario, and the child is introduced to the style of poem that you're going to learn about. So it's very colorful, and it's not just for really young kids, guys. My 14-year-old is reading this, but it breaks it down very easy in story form, and the story situations are very organic, very organic. Also, key vocabulary words that you'll learn: couplets, conclusion, rhyme. And so your children aren't just memorizing or reading out of context the vocabulary. They're getting this vocabulary in a story form where it's going to stick with them. And then you see the children start to construct the poem using whatever element that is being taught in the book. So you go from the beginning to them not knowing about it, being introduced to it, and then them doing it, being successful at it. And you'll get like at least 2 or 3 examples of the poem that the child's writing. And it's very relatable that in this book, the children, they're in the classroom. Look, they're editing, they're showing the whole process of brainstorming, putting your ideals down, revising your ideals, okay? Very, very gentle introduction. Let's see what else. And then the child has the completed version. So it takes you through one child's version of making a sonnet. And you have the result. So you can see the beginning all the way to the end, the life cycle of how that child put together her sonnet. There you go. Now, at the end of the book, in every book, it tells you how you can write a sonnet too. So it gives you some examples and some steps to construct your own sonnet, okay? So you can read that, get all the materials needed, and then construct your poem. or your sonnet or whatever that book is teaching you, okay? And again, they're still giving you vocabulary down here, or they're reinforcing the vocabulary. And then in the back, you have a glossary of the key words that will be used throughout the story. And then if you want more information, it gives you a list of other books to read. Some of them are instructional and others are just reading for fun. I think this is fabulous. That's just the sonnet, okay? I'll just do one more really quickly. This one is fun. My middle son actually liked this one because he likes to draw the concrete poem. So remember, you start off with the situation. What's going down? Well, first you have a child who sent in a letter of their of a poem. I thought that's really nice. Just so your child, and I think all the kids are like 10. So you start off the story. There's a situation going on, okay? And more of that situation. The girl wrote a poem shaped like a star. And then, you know, the boy is like, what is that? Da, 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 da. And then she shows him what she did, how she did it, what it's all about. And then, you know, then she tries to get him to write, you know, a concrete poem. And he's like, well, how do I do it? What do I do? So the girl tells him, look around you. Look up, look down, look all around. Write what you see, and then you construct your poem from what you find, from what you see. And so you see here, so you see our poem ideals, and then he's writing all the stuff that he sees, right? All of that. And then from there, he chooses one, which is a mountain, and he constructs his poem in the shape of a mountain. And he's happy about it. And she's pleased. So the story goes on. Then they decide to do poems that look like a leaf or something like that. You see the leaves blowing in the wind. And then you have another example. They always give you at least 2 examples of the elements being taught. And then she does a dog, looks like a Labrador. And then you see some of the vocabulary that's sprinkled throughout the book. And all throughout the book, you'll see certain words over and over again. Rhyme, alliteration, things like that. Meter, you know, your meat and potatoes vocabulary words. There's another one. Okay, so that's 3 examples of the poem. And then at the back of the book, you can write a concrete poem too. So it's your child's turn. And you should do this with your child. It gives you all the steps needed. It explains it all out for you. And then it gives you another example. And then boom, you created a concrete poem. And then in the back, you have your vocabulary that's sprinkled throughout. You have a meter, shape poem. What does that say? Free writing. So not only are you learning about poetry and the elements of poetry, you're learning all the shop talk. So once you get the shop talk, the vocabulary and all of that under your belt, you're free to just take off with the poetry because you're not struggling with the meaning of all of these elements. So I think that's wonderful. So I'm not going to show all of them. I don't want this video to be really long, but listen, I've always wanted to teach poetry. I've read poetry to my children. If you do memory work, this would be fantastic. Use poetry as your memory work. If you want to if you're tired of morning baskets, move in memory work or do both. But I think this is something fantastic to do. And now that my children have a story to connect each element of poetry, they don't forget. Well, so far they haven't forgotten because they just remember. They remember the characters. They remember where they are. And so that's why I like to use a story-based curriculum where possible, because children, people, adults, everybody, frogs, monkeys, deer, elephants, we remember things through stories and songs and rhymes. And so most of us, so I think that's a great way to do that. So let me know if you have any other poetry resources. We do read a lot of poetry, Langston Hughes, Shel Silverstein, pizza poems, like kid poems, things like that, poetry slammers. So this is a great way to knock out your poetry. Get it done. I'm all for simple, fast, and easy and productive. Just knock it out. Just, start with one of these books. The concrete one is really fun, and the nonsense one is so no pressure. Knock it out. Get one of these. Get started. You can do one book a week. Knock that out. At the end of the month, you have a nice little collection, a nice little portfolio of your children's poetry. So I hope that helps you out. Now, I would like it if you would leave a comment down below. First, like the video and leave a comment down below. Let us know what poetry resources you use to help teach poetry. I'm sure a lot of us would like to know, because a lot of us want to teach poetry. We don't know where to go. Okay, so share your knowledge and your wisdom. And if you're wondering how you can knock it out with poetry in your homeschool when you have so many other subjects to teach, I have a free homeschool checklist down below. It will help you organize your day and your subjects so you can see where you can squeeze in your poetry. Give it like 10 minutes. Start off with 10 minutes. No pressure, real easy, 10 minutes, okay? 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, if you have to break it up like that. But exposure is key. If anything, treat it as a read aloud. Knock it out, okay? You can do it. So that's it. This is Nikki with That Homeschool Life. I'll see you another day with another video. Mwah! I love you guys. Bye-bye.